Well, welcome everyone to Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. I'm Steve Savant, your host, syndicated financial columnist, and money color commentator. On today's show, what do you want your money to do, and when do you want it to start? Part 4 of our series on annuities and retirement with nationally recognized annuity expert, Stan, the annuity man. Welcome to the fourth segment, Stan.
Glad to be here. Let's get the logo up and get going.
There it is, and while we're doing that, let's just post on Amazon.com and in English. Consumers can read this in a sitting and actually understand for the first time, I think, some of the basic ideas of annuities. And should you do it? I don't know. Are you suitable? This will help you understand annuities and make a quality decision. Don't let an agent or a registered rep tell you that. You can do this. Control your own destiny. You were really not an author when you got into this.
I wasn't. This is therapy. This is cheaper than therapy. But I did think that annuities needed to be explained at the consumer level to get all the industry jargon out of the way. What are the good, the bad, the limitations, the benefits? Tell me the truth, Stan. Give me the brutal facts of what we got here, and let me make my own decision. Maybe they're not for you. Maybe that's it. But when you read these books, you're going to know if it fits. Period. And if it does fit, then we go through the quote process and quote all carriers.
Well, I mean, you've been on national media. You've been on Wall Street Journal, Market Watch, USA Today, Barron's, New York Times, Fox Business, MSNBC. Oh, I don't know if it's MSNBC or NBC.
They need me on that.
They need you on that. Yeah, they need a lot of guys on that show. Let's talk about, you always distill down things very basic. I love that. That's why I think it's very good, and we're a consumer show. What do you want? Your first question is always, what do you want your money to do contractually?
That's it. There's 2 questions to decide if you need an annuity. You know, what do I want the money to contractually do? Underline contractual. Okay, and then the second question is, when do I want those contractual guarantees to start? So let's go over again. What do I want the money to contractually do? And when do I want those contractual guarantees to start? From that, Steve, from those 2 answers, I know exactly if they need an annuity, and B, if they do need an annuity, what type of annuity? Because remember, annuities, I hate annuities, doesn't mean a thing because there's so many different types that do different things.
Well, let's talk about probably one of the most popular, besides gaining a rate, a fixed rate, is having income I can't outlive, because that's a big thing.
Right.
Now, I'd like you to give me the yin and yang on what is a single premium immediate annuity, what's a deferred income annuity, because both of them will do the job, but they have different kind of a start dates and kind of give it different numbers.
Single premium immediate annuity and deferred income annuity are cousins. Immediate annuity, single premium immediate annuities is when you want the income to start 30 days from the policy being issued up to 13 months. Deferred income annuities, 13 months up to 45 years of the start date.
45 years.
45 years.
Wow. Now, so have you seen, when you run these, it's hard to really find out who's going to win if you're close to when you're going to launch. If you're going to launch around the 13th to 16th month, you need to run both single premium immediate annuity and deferred annuity, because you don't know which one's going to win.
That is correct. You got to run quotes through all carriers. And that, in essence, is, hey, Stan, I need income to start later. I need to start in 14 months or 2 years. You got to run through all the carriers because things change. Remember, annuities are commodities. These quotes change. So the quote, and I tell people all the time, Steve, a quote is like a gallon of milk. It goes sour and it expires in about 7 to 10 days. So you got to re-quote all the time. And that doesn't mean that carrier A is going to finish first week 1 and week 2. They might finish first week 1 and might finish 5th in week 2.
Now, when you're quoting this, you're quoting all of these. And if a client wanted to come to a consumer came to your site, would he be able to plug in numbers and see this?
They plug in numbers, and then it goes to my staff, and we then shop all the carriers, and then we email them back the PDF of the quotes.
So you're showing a lot of carriers.
Every single one.
Every single one. So they can see you've done your due diligence, and really you're a major seller of annuities in the United States. So you're showing everything. Okay, I want to ask you something about, a lot of people probably don't understand single premium annuity. We just did a definition, but it's really not that new. But deferred income annuities, kind of new to most people, and I have to say, shockingly, to advisors and insurance agents.
Deferred income annuities are single premium immediate annuity structures, and both of them have no annual fees. There's no market attachments, no moving parts. They're a pension, they're a transfer risk. The question is, do you want it to start now or do you want it to start later? Deferred income annuities and their sister product, qualified longevity annuity contracts, which can be used in IRAs, you can defer out and know to the penny what that income stream is going to be for you and your spouse, however you want to set it up, at a specific date of your choice.
Well, hold on, I want to go down that road because we have many clients that are sitting there with required minimum distributions, and they're going, Steve, I don't need the income.
Right.
It's going to push me right into Tier 2 Social Security. In other words, your benefits are going to be taxed at the highest rate. Ordinary income, by the way.
Right.
But 3 years ago, the government, this is shock to me, the government came up with qualified longevity annuity contracts. It allows you and your spouse to push out into the future 25% of your qualified plan, not to exceed $125,000. And they said I can push my RMD on that block, so husband and wife, $250,000, I could push that out to age 85 if I wanted to.
Correct. So when you go do your required minimum distribution calculations, that $250,000, $125,000 each is not part of the RMD calculation. So you're going to lessen your taxes on RMDs, and you're going to actually, in my opinion, QLACs are a great strategy for future income to combat inflation, because you're going to have income turning on at different times. In fact, one of the things I tell people about annuities, they always say, Stan, should I buy a COLA or a CPIU increase? And I'm like, no, insurance companies don't give anything away. They're just going to lower the payment if you attach that. However, the way that I think that you should use annuities for inflation is to ladder the start date. So you should say, Stan, I'm going to buy an annuity, a deferred income annuity to start at 70. I'm going to buy another one to start at 75. I'm going to buy another one to start at 80. And I'm going to buy a QLAC to start at 85. What have you done? You're not trying to figure out what inflation is going to be, because there's no annuity that tracks inflation regardless of what an agent will tell you. There's no such thing. But you can have income starting at different time periods to combat inflation.
Well, it's interesting that when the government allowed this to happen, they wrote the reg. I was in shock. They must think that we're going to need money past, into the future. So they're already trying to prep the society for this.
Correct.
But they only allow you to use one type of an annuity. Now, that was kind of a shocker to me. Talk about that.
Right.
Deferred income annuity, that's it.
Deferred income annuity is a qualified longevity annuity contract, because deferred income annuities are also called longevity annuities. My apologies for this confusion that the annuity industry has created, but it is what it is. But qualified longevity annuity contracts, which is a deferred income annuity structure, is the only type of annuity allowed under the QLAC moniker. I think that's great because it's an irrevocable income stream. In other words, you can't change your mind and go buy a boat and cash it in. You buy one, you defer it to that specific date, and most carriers will allow you to change that date one time from a start date of the income, but it's going to be an income stream, and you're going to get your money back through the income stream.
Did I just hear you say there is an option generally?
Generally.
So if you have a little bit of remorse on when you want it to start, you could go back to the carrier and they give you one. Most carriers do that.
I'm glad you brought that up. People need to understand that lifetime income from an annuity is based primarily on your life expectancy. And if it's joint with your spouse, life expectancies, typically on the younger of the two. People always say, Stan, I'm trying to time rates to buy my income annuity. The primary pricing mechanism is life expectancy, how long you're projected to live. Do rates play a role? Absolutely, but it's secondary. It's a secondary pricing mechanism. So people need to say, hey, the older you are, the higher the payment. Why? Because the less your life expectancy. It's really that simple. So you're transferring the risk to the insurance company. You're saying to the insurance company, you say I'm going to live to here. I think I'm going to live longer than you think I'm going to live. And if I do, you, Mr. Carrier, are on the hook to pay. That's an annuity benefit proposition for lifetime income.
Well, I like that idea because we're living longer. And think about this. Not only are we living longer, but not on the basis of any fantastic medical advances yet. And I think those are yet to come. So we could see numbers push out into the future that we think are science fiction today, but could be science fact.
Which leads us to buy quality carriers to back up the guarantees of the contract.
Real fast. MIGA rates. Hey, I don't need income. I just want a rate. My bond, I'm afraid my bond account's going to get trashed as the Fed starts moving numbers up. Can I use this as a bond substitute and just get fixed rate annuity and call it a day?
I hesitate because bonds and annuities are two different animals. I know that's very popular for agents to say that. I really don't do that because I used to manage bonds, and I know bonds pretty much inside and out. I just think that you look at multi-year guarantee annuities, fixed rate annuities, as just a way to tread water. Park your money, get a guaranteed rate, not pay any fees, and let the rates come to you. Right now, we're doing 3, 4, and 5-year ladders. I think it's very efficient. It's a very good way to approach an interest rate environment that no one knows what's going to happen.
Well, don't forget to watch our next episode, The Future of Annuities, part 5 of our series on annuities and retirement. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or your financial advisor, or just go to Stan the Annuity Man's site and you can ask him yourself. And you've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.
Oh my